What a great start to the year, but not if you're a foreigner living in France, because the French Office of Immigration and Integration has been attacked. And what I mean by that is it has suffered a colossal data breach. And we know this because the hackers themselves on January 1st posted about it online. And in fact, if you're from a particular country, you might actually be in physical danger. We also need to talk about the change in law that's just happened, which affects foreigners that want to apply for a long stay visa in France, and why the French are outraged at George Clooney. That's right, there's some wild stuff going on in France at the moment. Now let's get right into it, starting with that colossal data breach. And here's a quick rundown of the information that has been compromised. Your surname, first name, gender, date of birth, place of birth, and your nationality. Your current residential address, mobile number, home number, email address, marital status, if you're single or married, children, how many children you have, and their respective years of birth, as well as the date that you entered French territory and the nature of your residency card. For example, if you're a refugee or if you're a parent of a French child, basically why did you get your residency card, as well as some internal file numbers. There is a sample file proving that this has happened, and there is also a separate file with all of the information about Israeli nationals that have made the request for a visa. And this isn't just a localized leak, this concerns up to 2.1 million applicants. 2.1 million foreigners currently in France have potentially had all of their information, extremely sensitive information at that, leaked, and it is now on the internet. And of course, if you're Israeli, it's even worse because it's in a separate file folder highlighted by the hacker group. Imagine if the particular group that did this didn't like Americans, for example, and kind of separated them and made their personal information, including their address and how many children they've got. Imagine if that information is out there, all because you applied to live in France. Absolutely insane and very scary. Which brings me to the sponsor of today's video. It is, of course, Incogni. Incogni is this incredible service that scours the World Wide Web for your personal data, and when it finds it, usually in the hands of data brokers who have bought, traded, sold your data, then they issue a removal request and make them delete it from their data bases. Incogni also handles custom removal requests. You simply copy a link to a page which features your personal information and then paste it into Incogni's custom removals tool, and they will handle the rest. And for my wonderful US based viewers, take heed, because there's a thing called people search sites where anyone with your name can look you up and find your address. But fear not, because Incogni can have that data removed as well. And I wouldn't recommend them if I weren't using them myself. That's right, I am proudly a paying customer of theirs and recommend them to everyone I know. Plus, they've got a sweet deal for you. It's 60% off when you sign up for an annual plan. The link is in description, incogni.com/lifeofryan, or simply use code lifeofryan at checkout. Thanks Incogni for sponsoring this video. Now, what is the official response by the French Office of Immigration and Integration? That is the government branch, by the way. Well, they replied on the 7th of January, about a week later, via a post on X. And they said, a cyber attack on January 1st, 2026 impacted the French Office of Immigration and Integration information system. This malicious attack exploited a service provider, that's a third-party service provider by the way, with access to certain data belonging to signatories of Republican integration contracts. As soon as the intrusion was detected, legal and technical security procedures were implemented. We also reminded our service providers of our contractual security requirements. A complaint has been filed. What is the nature of the intrusion? The attack consisted of accessing the applications through the compromised account of one of our service providers who had a legitimate access to the information. Is my data affected? The data breach only concerns signatories of the Republican integration contract. All affected individuals will be informed of the personal data breach. Advice: as a signatory of the Republican integration contract, you may have been a victim of this data breach. You must exercise increased vigilance. We remind you that OFII, the Office of French Immigration Integration, services are free of charge and no financial contribution can be requested from you. Wow, that was a mouthful. So that is the official response. Basically, the government is saying it was via a third party, I guess you could call him a subcontractor, who had access to the information, and that was how the hacker group got the information. Now, this is a very serious data breach, as we saw via the nature of the information, because people now have a complete profile of the affected individuals. And what I mean by that, they've got, well, basically everything, including your physical address, which is where the element of danger is what I'm trying to say, okay? Especially if you're from a certain country. I think it's absolutely insane. It's scary. It's terrifying. I do want to say that the Republican integration contract is essentially a thing where you adhere to the values of the Fifth Republic of France, blah, 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 blah. So anyone who signed that document is affected by this. Now, in conclusion, what's going to happen to the foreigners in France? Well, best case scenario, nothing, of course. Nothing comes of this. Your information will just be out there in that file. Or, worst case scenario, we're talking identity theft, fraud. Oh, and they've got your physical address as well. And they know how many kids you got. So, potentially, well, let's not even go there. That's, that's quite scary, in fact. But don't worry, because a complaint has been filed, apparently. So, there we go. Onwards and upwards, I guess. Now, let's end things on a lighter note, shall we? And we need to give congratulations to the one, the only George Clooney, because he has officially become a French citizen. Bravo, Monsieur Clooney, bravo. In fact, we shall exclusively refer to him by his new French name, Georges Clooney. And Georges Clooney has essentially been fast-tracked to obtain a French passport, thanks to his contribution through his distinguished service to France's international influence and cultural prestige, through his role in the film industry, in Hollywood, in America. Never been in a French film before, but there you go. Not that I know of, at least. It comes under scrutiny amongst the toughening of immigration rules for everyone else as of January 1st. That's right, if you are applying for anything longer than a 1-year visa for France, there are now tougher language requirements, as well as a new civic exam where you have to answer 40 questions out of a possible roughly 190 questions, and you need to get 80% correct. It's not too difficult. There's unlimited tries. Obviously you need to rebook it every time, and it will cost between 70 and 200 euros because there's no standard price, and I believe it's all kind of privatized, the companies that host the exam, which George Clooney didn't have to do because he doesn't even meet the language requirement. So there you have it. Is it fair that Georges Clooney is now a certified Frenchman whilst thousands of others have to wait, buried under the weight of the French bureaucracy? I'll let you decide. You don't have to decide now. You can decide later. But that's going to be all from me for today. Thank you so much for watching the video, and don't forget, if you want Incogni, 60% off an annual plan. Links in the description. Bye for now.